Carly from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, January 20th. So we are going to shift out of that beautiful, bold, fiery energy of Leo and move into the moon in Virgo. This will be taking place around 9:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And anytime that we make this shift from Leo energy to Virgo energy, we become a little bit more grounded, a little bit more in the moment of our physical realms. We have a lot of energy and focus to create order where there has been chaos. And for many of us, it starts with our physical realms. We have to put everything back in its place. And we have to keep in mind that our physical surroundings just mirror the kind of emotion and energy that we're holding within ourselves. So this Virgo energy helps us to take care of the physical tasks at hand. And in doing so, we have some profound emotional and mental insights by keeping the physical body busy and allowing new information to actually channel through. There are 10 different aspects taking place here today, and all of them involve the moon. It's definitely going to be a day where we fine-tune our emotions, where we get ourselves a little bit more in alignment with our heart, with our head, with our body, and again, a little bit more of alignment between our physical lives and our emotional and energetic lives. We have the moon bumping into Pluto right out of the gate, and this is likely going to show us where it is that we have to muster up the physical energy, the drive, the courage to get out of our funk and actually use this intense energy to want to create order where there's been chaos. This Plutonian energy has a tendency to highlight the darker parts of our shadow selves and give us an option, whether or not we're going to stay in a state of paralysis, of non-action, using that victim mentality as our excuse for not pushing forward, or we're going to recognize that, you know what, we have a lot of power within ourselves. We have a lot of ability to use these darker forces as motivation and inspiration to make a change. And that change starts with our physical realm here today and what we have to kind of clean up, what we have to provide a little bit more order to. The moon trines Mars, and this is a beautiful energy because not only does this give us some physical energy, it kind of musters up a brand new willpower, a brand new determination to get things in order, to tackle some of our problems, and to come up with some creative solutions on how we're going to do that. Now, Mars, being in Sagittarius, is all about truth, all about a higher meaning, a higher purpose, and when we recognize the want, need, and desire to make a huge transformation in our lives, we have to recognize that all parts have to be in agreement, mind, body, and soul. The moon bumps into Venus, and as you know, Venus is crawling her way out of this dark pit that she's been in. She's preparing to go direct on the 29th. She's been humbled. She's had some time to think about what makes her happy, who makes her happy, where her own self-worth and self-issues have been holding her back, and she's had about enough. She's recognized where it is that no one is going to come and save her and that she must save herself. And because of this, there's a brand new perspective emerging on what it is that is worth her time and energy once she creeps out of this hole. This is about our emotions and what it is we want, need, and desire, what it is that we have to do to create more happiness and joy in our lives. And of course, that starts with the relationship with ourself, because all the other relationships in our lives are merely a mirror to the way that we are treating ourselves in our inner realms. The moon squares the true node. The true node just fresh in this Taurus and Scorpio axis. And of course, we're going to be a little bit conflicted here because we have a lot to process, and it might be the best advice to kind of stick in this present moment and not let yourself think too long term, because right now we're lacking clarity. That clarity is coming. Uranus just went direct, providing us with a huge breakthrough, with a huge download of insight, but many of us haven't quite connected the dots yet. So we are going to kind of be at odds with what the long-term plan should be. But when we kind of break those little bits and pieces up to manageable pieces, there's a lot that we can tackle in the run of our day, in the here and now, that's going to make a major difference in building new routines for ourselves, new relationships for ourselves, new ways to be self-sufficient and more independent, and definitely consider where it is that we have to let go of some elements of our lives in order to create a space for new elements to be built. The sun and the moon come together. And this is the very kind of first time that we have this Aquarian energy from the sun really shining a bright light on our futuristic selves. But here's the thing. The moon in Virgo especially is very present in the here and now, wants to tackle the problems that we have here and now, the chaos that we have here and now. The sun in Aquarius always wants us to think big picture, wants us to think futuristic versions of ourselves. And there is this inner conflict going on because we're not quite ready to think that far in advance because we have too much to deal with in the here and now. There is going to be a huge illumination on where it is that we can kind of push ourselves outside of our comfort zones, thinking outside of the box. Of course, this Virgo energy ruled over by Mercury, who is currently retrograde in Aquarian energy. And we do have a lot of reflection to do. We do have a lot of sorting out to do, reprocessing to do. But the sun in Aquarian energy is constantly wanting to show us the bright lights, the possibilities, the new inspiration that we are now aligning with in order to bring some of our future dreams and goals to our physical realms. The moon is going to go ahead and bump into Pluto. This is actually a positive aspect, and it's going to work very well for us to kind of get a grip on our emotions and on our mental plane. So the moon in Virgo is highly analytical, sometimes overcritical, very judgmental, especially of oneself, but that is almost needed right now in order to get a grip on all of the emotions that have just been firing off within us. Of course, there's been a lot of changes thrown at us, a lot of information, a lot of details emerge, and at this particular point, we are taking the intensity, the obsessiveness of that Plutonian energy to make things right. The Plutonian energy, although, very dark within the shadow realms of our healing, does provide us with a huge ability to tap into our psyche, the deepest parts of our psyche, the deepest parts of our heart space, and really kind of have an aha moment, be damn well and determined to make a change within ourselves because we know the kind of changes that we want to see in our physical realm. The moon bumps into Chiron in the most positive way. Chiron, of course, is the wounded healer, providing us with a beautiful, beautiful aha moment within our emotional selves, within our mental selves, on where it is that we are rising to the challenge. We are getting a grip. We are transforming our mindset, our heart space. And of course, this provides us with a huge amount of healing that will eventually reverberate into our physical realms. The moon opposes Jupiter, though. We have the moon in Virgo sitting across from Jupiter in Pisces. Of course, Pisces and Virgo are sitting across from each other in the astrology wheel, and this can really put us at odds with one another. So let's and ourselves, really. So let's kind of take a look at what this energy is. First of all, emotionally, we want to be in the here and now. We want to create order in our lives. We want to create order in our heart space, in our head space. We want to focus on the tangible. That's that Virgo energy, that earth energy that keeps us very present with our physical realms. But Jupiter is over here wanting us to grow, wanting us to expand, wanting us to see the life lessons and the blessings from our hardship. And he's in Pisces, which is anything but the here and now, anything but this physical realm. It's the spiritual realm. It is the non-tangible. It is the borderless energy that connects every single one of us together. And this can be kind of conflicting because we're having a lot of insight, a lot of emotions that our egoic critical minds just can't make sense of in the here and now. The moon bumps into Mercury, and this is likely going to manifest in an outside trigger, an outside conversation, maybe new information or details emerging in our personal conversations. And again, this is Mercury ruling over Virgo energy, Mercury retrograde. So we're looking back, we're revisiting some topics and themes, some conversations, some ideas, some plans. And the moon in Virgo is definitely, like I said, very over analytical, ready to pluck out those little smaller details and put it in order for us to make sense of it. This, again, coming from an outside trigger or an activation, will likely put us in a situation where we're going to have to revisit some conversations, some topics, some themes that we thought we were done with, especially in our mental plane. We're revising, re-editing our plans, our thoughts, how it is that we express ourselves, and we are going to have a little bit of a breakthrough once we start connecting the dots. Lastly, we have the moon bumping into the sun once again in a very harmonious way, especially compared to the earlier aspect. Right now, we are ready because we've spent the time within ourselves, because we've kind of stepped up to the challenge to reorganize our thoughts and feelings, because we've had to be reflective, revise, re-edit some of the things that happened in our past in order to have a bigger, broader understanding. Now we're ready to give ourselves permission to think a little bit further about our future plans than we were earlier in the day. There is this overlap of recognizing where it is that our energy and attention is needed the most in order to really free ourselves from some of the confines, restrictions, roles, responsibilities, obligations that we now know we're no longer in alignment with.